Hello, 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 everybody. Now, today is something different. Something very different, might I add. Today, we'll be reading a book. By we, I mean I. But, you'll be here, too. So, we'll wait a few minutes for everyone to get here. Oh dear. I forgot to turn that off. Mute that site. It's Twitch. I'm excited. I've been wanting to do this for a while. So, let's just give everybody 5 minutes to appear and give me 5 minutes to wake up. So, hello, hello everybody. How's it going? Are you having a good day? And are you ready? Okay. I didn't sleep much last night. This rain isn't helping. And, well, yeah. The rain noise isn't helping. I did sort of just wake up too. I feel like... But healthy sleep schedule shut. Now, today is special. Today is the start of something that I've wanted to do for a long time. Today, we start reading the first book in the Redwall series, but not by date it came out. Here's the fun part. The Redwall series is scattered across so many different books, and if we want to start, we will start with the first book when it comes to the series timeline, which would be Lord Brocktree. If we were to start by the date the books came out, we'd be starting with gay, homosexual, gay. Lux! Hi! Well, also, oh fuck, my connection sucks. Ah, dear. But, if we were to start with the first... Anyways, just came to say hi, bye now. Okay, bye, bestie. But if we were to start with the first book, like the book that first came out, we'd be starting with Salmanstrom, which came out in 1986. However, the first book in the timeline, like, of the series, Drake, hello! But the first book in the timeline is Lord Brocktree, which came out in around 2000, like around the year 2000. Which is interesting. And it's interesting seeing that the first book that was published, Salmanstrom, is actually in the middle of the timeline. Timeline moment, correct. Now, everybody, it's time to get started. So, curl up under a blanket and listen to this tale as the rain washes away the rest of the world. Oh, hello, Onyx. And let's begin. Lord Rusino of Salmanstrom put aside his quill and capped a tiny gourd of ink with a wooden stopper. Leaving his study, the badger went downstairs, clutching a wooden pail full of parchment scrolls. Oh dear. Oh, hi, soul. Huh. Okay, have a good day, Onyx. Oh, this is a lot. Now, I want to mention that this is Soul. Some background. This series is the first book series that I ever got into. Just want to say hi to my best friend. Ah, hello. Now, some backstory. This is my favorite book series, the Redwall series, and it's the one that I've read no matter what. Now, it's time to continue. Where were we? He was met at the bottom by his wife, Lady Rosalind, who shook her head reprovingly at him. So that's where my pail went. I've been looking everywhere for it. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, pinching pails? However, Rusino looked anything but ashamed. He held up the pail and shook it triumphantly. Look, Rosalind, I finished it, my history of Lord Brocktree's journey and conquest of our mountain. Rosalind smiled at her husband. He was the kindest and wisest. Oh dear. Any louder and it's gone. I mean, any quieter and it's gone. Well, I heard this out. I guess I'm just wait. Simply be louder. Let's fucking go, pog pog pog. It's story time, our dudes. Let's go. It's story time. So hello, Rooster. So, as I've told you earlier, we're starting not with the first book published, but with the first book in the timeline, which is Lord Brocktree. If we were to start with the first book, we'd start in the middle of the timeline with Salmanstrom, because that was the first book published, to my knowledge. Now, I do believe that we should continue. Rosalind smiled at her husband. He was the kindest and wisest badger Salmanstrom had ever known, though when he was enthusiastic about his pet projects, he behaved like a cheerful, eager youngster. She took hold of his ink-stained paw as they walked to the dining hall. They're all waiting, you know. Remember, you promised to read them this story once you completed it. Rusino chuckled. I don't suppose Snowstripe, Melanis, and the Leverettes would wait a day or two until I tidy this manuscript up a bit? Rosalind stopped Rusno in his tracks. That's not just our son and there's not just our son and daughter and some young lovers waiting to hear the tale. Word has got round. Every hare on the mountain wants to hear it too. Rusno turned and made for the stairs, but the wife held on to his paw. The Badger Lord appeared rather flustered. Every hare, you say? You mean all of them, but I only meant this as something for the young ones, to teach them a little of our mountain's history. Rosalind squeezed his paw affectionately. That's not fair. What about us older ones, the parents and grandkin? Aren't we entitled to know our mountain's history? I, for one, would love to hear it. Besides, you have a wonderful storytelling voice. Oh, say... Hand-holding. Yes. Oh, say you'll read us to it all over snow, please. Uncensored hand-holding. Also, something interesting is... This book is full of furries. Every character is an anthropomorphic animal. That's another thing. But keep in mind, that's not why I like this series. I started reading it way before I was a furry. Anywho, moving on. Rosalind squeezed his paw. Oh wait, whoops, sorry. Oh dear, I'm losing track. The Badger Lord allowed himself to be led off again towards the dining hall. Oh, all right. But it'll take a few days. This is a big work. I've been 2 seasons now, reading through dusty old parchments, interviewing creatures for stories about their ancestors, and studying carvings in the forge. I've sat on the shore, listening to sea otters, stood beneath trees, recording squirrels. I've had to crouch for 4 days in a mole dwelling. Had to keep waking those 2 fat moles up so I could hear their story. Do you know it was told to them by their great-grandma who had it from her old aunts, cousins, twice removed on the uncle's side, or so they said? Rosalind stood with her hand on the door latch. Yes, yes, I know all that, Rusano. It won't matter how long you take to read the thing. You can space it out a bit every evening. Nothing's nicer on a winter's night than a good story. Now the fire's banked up, supper's on the table, and every beast is waiting for you. So in you go. The dining hall was packed to capacity, mainly with hares, so there was a scattering of moles, squirrels, hedgehogs, mice, and some visiting otters. Lord Rusno was immediately captured by his 2 young offspring, Melanis and Snowstripe, who tugged him up the 3 broad steps to where his chair had been placed next to a supper-laden table. Papa, read the story to us, please. Are me and Snowstripe in the story, Papa? Rusno chuckled as he set them down on the cushioned chair arms on either side of him. Great seasons. You'd have to be many seasons old to be in this tale. Now, sit still and be silent, my dears. Silence fell over the hall, broken only by the doors opening as the duty cooks came hurrying in. Every beast turned around and shushed them loudly, and quiet was restored once more. Yes, it's a story reading of a story reading. That's actually very interesting. Anywho, Rusano split open a small loaf, cut a thick chunk of cheese, and jammed it in the bread, making himself a rough sandwich. Every eye was upon him as he took a few good bites and washed them down with a half-tankard of October ale. The still atmosphere was broken by a small hedgehog squeaking along with, When's the Badger Lord When's the Bachelor going to get on with it? They sound British. No, keep giving your little comments. It makes it more entertaining for me, actually. It's fun. Resno left off eating quizzically at the Hog Babe. Get on with what? A deafening roar rang out from the crowded hall. The story! Hi, Rose! How are you? I'm doing good, by the way. So, some backstory. We are reading off the first book in the timeline for the Redwall series. Now, keep in mind I say timeline. This is not the first book published. It is the first book in the series timeline. Because if we were starting with the first book published, that would be Salamandstron. And that's... Please do. Please do. But it's... This fight... Sorry. But, as I was saying, if this were the first book published, this would be Salamandstron, which is in the middle of the series timeline. Anywho. Oh, did you want me to read you my story? He clapped his ears to his paws as the noise... Wait, oh, wait. Oh, sorry, I'm losing my place. Rusano looked up in mock surprise. Oh, did you want me to read you my story? He clapped his paws to his ears as the noise hit him like a tidal wave. Yes! The small, polished hardwood stick that Rusano always carried with him was lying on the table. Lady Rosalind picked it up and waved it warningly. Under his nose. Lord Rusano, will you please stop teasing and read the story? Either that or straight off to bed with you. Every beast, especially the little ones, laughed at the idea of a badger lord being sent to bed for being naughty. Rusano pulled the first scroll from the pail. Unrolling it across the tabletop, he placed his tankard on the top edge to stop it folding back. His kind brown eyes roamed the hall, a smile hovering upon his lips as he spoke. Friends, I will read to you for a few hours each evening. Salamandstron's history goes back further into the mists of time than even I would dare to guess. But the mountain as we know it today, with its Leverett School, long patrol, and laws set down for all to live in peace, is due mainly to the work of one creature, Lord Brocktree of Brockhall. It was he who is responsible for the life we enjoy here, the outer gardens and terraces, the orchards, the orchards and crop-growing areas. And the wonderful chambers, so full of comfort. Other badgers were here before. Other badgers were here before him, and they were all good lords in their own fashion. But not until the time of Lord Brocktree of Brockhall did the mountain really come into its own. I have recorded the history of his early years as faithfully as I could. So then, here it is. I hope you learn lessons from it. Take heed of its value, and most of all, I hope you enjoy it as a mighty tale of great warriors. So ends the prologue, and starts Book 1, The Days of Engit Trun, also entitled Dorothy Leaves Home, or Dorothea? Yeah, Dorothy. No, it's Dorothea, sorry. Loneliness was everywhere, hopelessness, and an air of foreboding has settled over the western shores, casting their pall over land, sea, and the mountain of Salamandstron. Yet no beast knew the cause of it. A pale moon of early spring cast its wan light down upon the face of the mighty deeps. touching each wind-driven wave-top with flecks of cold silver. Soughing breakers crashed endlessly upon the land, weary after their journey from the corners of the earth. Above the tideline, gales chased dry sand across the rocks, forcing each particle to sing part of a keening dirge that blended with the sounds of the dark ocean. In his chamber, overlooking the scene, Lord Stonepaw sat in his great chair, feeling as ancient as the mountain he ruled. In one corner, his bed stood neatly made, unused now for a score of seasons. He was far too old. The ritual of laying down each night and rising next day had become painful for his bones. Drawing his cloak tight against the vagrant sea chills, the once mighty Badger Lord squinted ruefully out to sea, worrying constantly about his domain. Without bothering to knock, a venerable hare creaked his way in. I accidentally hit my mic with my hand. Without bothering to knock, a venerable hare creaked his way into the chamber, leaning heavily upon a small serving cart which he pushed before him. I didn't back it! I hit it with my hand by accident! There's a difference! Leaning heavily upon a small serving cart which he was pushing before him. Stonepaw's efforts to ignore him were of no avail. He fussed hither and thither like a broody hen with only one chick, chunnering constantly as he went about his chores. No fire lit again, me lord. Catch your death of cold. One might find ye will. One night ye will. Mark me words. Sparks from the flint he was striking against the blade, coupled with his wheezy blowing, soon had a flame from dry moss crackling against pine twigs. Not bad. No. I'm a good noodle. That's better. What? Come on, get to supper down. You've got to blinking well eat to live, you know. Stonepaw shook his head at the sight of this food. His servant was laying out on the small table at his side. Leave me alone, Fleececut. I'll have it later. No, you won't, sire. You'll flippin' well have it now. I ain't going to the bother of luggin' victuals from the kitchen to watch you let 'em go cold. Hot vegetable soup and fresh bread. That'll do you the world of good. I don't like the hares. Fleececut. Oh, whoops. The ancient badger sighed with resignation. Oh, give your tongue a rest. I'll take the soup. Bread's no good to me, though. Too crusty. Hurts my gums. Fleececut brooked no arguments. Drawing his dagger, he trimmed the crusts from the still oven-warm loaf. No crusts now. What? Dip it in your soup, my lad. The hare perched on the chair arm, helping himself to soup and bread, and in the hope that it might encourage his master's appetite. Stonepaw snorted mirthlessly. Look at us, me, Stonepaw, hardly able to hold a spoon with the same paw that used to lift huge boulders, and you, Fleececut, doddering around with a trolley. The hare fuck. Dude, I can't speak today. Nudged his old friend and cackled. Maybe so, but I can still remember the days when I could leap 3 times as high as that trolley. I and run from dawn to dusk. You nudgles. Aye, and run from dawn to dusk without stopping to draw breath. Wasn't a bally hare on the mountain who could even day with my dust trail. Those were the seasons. But you too, Stonepaw. I saw you lift boulders bigger than yourself when we were young. You could break spears and bend swords with your bare paw. Stonepaw gazes at the paws in question. They may have been my old messmate, but look at my paws now. Silver-furred, battered, scarred, and so full of aches and pains that they're no good for anything. Please cut. Oh, it's Fleet Scud. Oh dear. Fleet Scud hauled himself from the chair arm and went to lean at the long window overlooking the sea. So what's the blinking problem? Every beast has to grow old. Nothing can stop that. We've had a long and good life, you and me. Fought our battles, protected the western coast against all comers, and never once backed off from any fight. There's been peace now for as long as any creature on the mountain can remember. What are you worrying about, sire? With a grunt, Stonepaw rose slowly from his chair and joined his companion at the window. He stared out at the darkened waters as he replied, "Peace has gone on too long. Something inside me says that trouble such as these shores has never known is heading our way. I wish that we could live our days out without having to take up arms again, Fleet Scud." This series was Crow's Furry Awakening. No, that was actually, if I remember correctly, Disney's Robin Hood. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it. It was definitely Disney's Robin Hood. Also, I didn't even know what furries were when I started reading this. I'm telling you, I didn't know what furries were. I started reading this when I was 5, Lemmy. I didn't know. And okay, whatever, moving on. Moving on. But deep down, I'm stone cold certain it won't happen. Worst part of it is, I can't even guess what the future holds. Whatever. Again, moving on. We don't have time to argue about this. Fleet Scud looked strangely at the Badger Lord. Then shuddered and went down to warm himself by the fire. "Sire, I know exactly how you feel. Matter of fact, I was thinking those very words this afternoon. When old Blanche the cook said to me, looks like evil coming soon," she said. "See for yourself, there ain't a sight or sound on the sea." Oh, there ain't a sight or sound of a single bird anywhere on land or sea. Damn, guess I vacated the premises. Lord Stonepaw stroked his long silver beard thoughtfully. Blanche was right, too, now that you've come to mention it. Where do you suppose all the birds have gone? The skies are usually thick with gulls, cormorants, petrels, and shearwaters in late spring. Yes, they're birds. However, they aren't, and well, most of them can speak. There are some birds, I should say. Not many, but some. Scott shrugged expressively. Who knows what goes on in the mind of a seabird? Maybe they know things we don't. Stands to reason, though, sire. Why would they hang about if they knew something bad is due to come here? The Badger smiled at his faithful old friend. Why, indeed. They have no duty to protect this coast, and they can always build nests elsewhere. Leave me now. I'll talk to you on the morrow. There's things I must do. Fleetscut had never questioned his Badger Lord's authority and was not about to do so now. Bobbing a stiff bow, he left the chamber, pushing his trolley. Lord Stonepaw made his way to the secret chamber where countless other Badger rulers of Salmanstron had gone to dream mysterious dreams. It was a place that would have made the hairs on any other creature's back stand stiff. Ranged around the walls of the inner chamber were lines of little carvings telling of a mountain's history. Guarding its fearsome armored array stood the mummified bodies of past Badger warriors: Thumb the Gripper, Spear Lady Gorse, Blue Stripe the Wild, Saterruler the Just, and many other legendary figures. From his... Hello, and welcome. Let me... the copy thing. Please. Unless you don't have it. If not, I am perfectly okay with doing it. You don't... Okay, this is fine? This is fine. Hello, Skulls. Welcome! Now, for some backstory, we are reading off the first book in the series timeline for the Redwall series. Now, keep in mind, I don't mean the first published book. You see, if we did that... if we did by release order, we would be starting with Salmanstron, the first book published, but the middle of the timeline. Yes, that's perfect. Anywho, from his own lantern, Stonepaw lit 3 others. It's the Redwall series, and we're starting with Lord Brocktree. Then, taking a paw full of herbs from a shelf, he sprinkled them into the lantern vents. As the sweet-smelling incense of smoke wreathed him, he sat down upon a carved rock throne. Closing both eyes, he breathed in deeply and let his mind take flight. After a while, he began speaking. If the gates of the dark forest lay open for me soon, if the shadow of evil darkens our western shore, who will serve in my stead? My hairs are scattered far and wide. Peacetime makes young warriors restless. They are gone questing afar for adventure. Only the old guard are left here with me on this mountain, dim of eye and feeble of limb, the seasons of their strength long flown. Lord Stonepaw's eyes began flickering. The herbal smoke swirled around his great silver head as he sat up straight, his voice echoing around the rock-bound cavern. Where is the strongest of the strong? What can be so perilous that a force of fighting hares will rise and follow that creature? Is there a badger roaming the earth, brave and mighty enough to become the Lord of Salmanstron? Outside on the strand, the gale increased. Waves crashed widespread on the tide line in their effort to conquer the land. Like a maddened beast, the ocean roared. Sand swept upwards into winding columns, spiraling crazily across the shore. There was no sound of birds or any other living things to be heard. A foreboding great of great evil lay over the land and sea, but no beast knew the cause of it. Yet. Chapter 2. So, I would like to take a pause here and ask, how is everyone liking this so far? Are you enjoying the book? Because I do hope everyone's liking the book. It's very good. Not awake enough to process most of the words. I just like hearing your voice. Aww, I'm glad you like hearing my voice. Well, it's time to move on. Chapter 2. In the northeast reaches of Mossflower Wood, a traveler had walked straight into trouble. Drake Slopmouth and his brood, numbered 13, all nasty, vicious stoats, every one. Drake's family not liked, but loved to cheat, lie, steal, bully, or murder. Even amongst themselves, their chief hatred was honest toil. The only work they had done that day was to lie in wait for an unsuspecting wayfarer, a lanky, carefree young hare known to her friends as Dottie. She was reckless. Is something going on in chat? What is going on? Anywho, she was reckless and impatient and not over fond of studying, but what she lacked in scholarly achievement she made up for in impudence, courage, and a sharp wit. I'm making a dumb joke. Oh. I don't get the joke. Anywho. No. There's a character called Drig. D-R-I-G-G. Drig. But the realization that she was surrounded by Drig and his band of robbers did not seem to upset her unduly. She nodded amiably at them. Good morning, chaps and chapesses. Not a bad day, not a bad old sort of day for this time of season, what? A laugh arose from the stoats. Look at what we caught, Drig. A posh rabbit. Dottie rounded on the speaker, a fat, frowsy female. Specifically incorrect, don't you know, my old stoatess? I'm not a rabbit. Now say it here correctly after me. Look at what we caught, Drig. A posh hare. Drake stepped between them, pointing to the traveling haversack, which resembled an outsized handbag, swinging from the young hare's paw. 2 G's, by the way. Drig with 2 G's. Swinging from the young hare's paw, empty your bag on the ground. Dottie smiled sweetly at him. Oh, I'd rather not, sir. It took me half the day to get the jolly old thing repacked. What? Daddy smiled sweetly at him. Oh, I'd rather not, sir. It'd take me half the day to get the jolly old thing repacked. What? And the large, dim-looking stoat, Drig's eldest son, pushed forward. Then tell us what you got in your bag. Don't say it isn't nothing. Dottie clucked reprovingly. You mean don't say it isn't anything? Dearie me, I bet you never attended woodland school. The big stoat snarled, pawing at a long dagger he wore hanging from his belt. Just show us what's in the bag, rabbit. The hare maid wagged a paw at him. There you go again with that rabbit air. Did I call you a stoat? Of course I didn't. It's obvious to any beast you're an oversized toad. Oh, sorry, the bag. Here, you take it. Dottie swung the bag hard. There was a cracking noise as it struck the stoat's head, laying him out flat. She rolled upon the others, a perilous glint in her eyes. I can forgive bad grammar and insults, but that was a good flagon of old cider, a gift from my Aunt Blanche. And that oaf has just broken it with his head. Unforgivable. Ah, well, there's only one thing I've got to say to you. Yulia. Wow. I'm not going to yell that, and I'm not, because that's loud, and also, I don't feel like breaking somebody's ears. Okay. The time-honored war cry of fighting hares rang out as Dottie hurled herself upon the would-be robbers, laying about her with her bag left and right. Lemmy. I saw what you sent me. Anywho! About her with... I saw what you sent me! And no, I will not destroy your ears. Anywho. Laying about with her bag left and right, leaping and kicking out fiercely with powerful, rangy foot paws. From the shelter of a broad beach nearby, another traveler watched the melee. He chuckled quietly. The young hare seemed to be doing fine despite the number of vermin she was facing. Dottie had accounted for 3 or more stoats and was in the process of depriving the fat, drowsy one of her remaining snaggle teeth when Drigg got her foot paw in a noose. The hare maid was yanked off balance and floored as 3 stoats leapt on her back. Drigg's slapmouth drew a sharp double-edged dagger and circled his fallen victim, calling to those who had piled in her. Get her on her back and stretch her neck so I can stab in. Older still, you blithering oafs. From his position into the beech tree, the watcher decided it was time to step in and help the beleaguered hare. Drigg screeched in terror as he was lifted into the air and used as a swatter to knock the other stoats willy-nilly. His flailing paws swept vermin left and right. The wind was knocked from him as his stomach connected with the stars of another, and stars exploded when his head cracked against the jaw of a hefty young stoat. Dottie scrambled upright, swinging her bag, but there was no beast to strike. Vermin lay everywhere. Those still conscious moaned aloud, nursing their injuries. Drigg still hung half-dazed from the paw of a mighty male badger. The huge creature looked like one who had brooked no nonsense from any beast, from his wild, dark eyes and rough, bearded muzzle to the homespun tunic and traveler's cloak he wore. An immense double-hilted battle sword hung at his back. He tossed Drigg aside like a discarded wash rag and nodded sternly at the hare maid. I've been watching you a while from behind yon beech. For young un, you were doing quite well until they came at you from behind. Remember, if there's more than one enemy, always get your back against a rock or a tree. The hare maid kicked us over a stoat who was struggling to rise. She addressed the badger none too cordially. Well, you've got a bally nerve, I must say, telling a gal how to conduct her battles, while you'st hidden on the blinking sidelines watching. Are you sure it wasn't too much bother having to jolly well get off your bottom and help me out? The badger shrugged noncommittally. As I said, I thought you were doing quite well. If I had thought you could have taken them single pot, I wouldn't have stepped in. Dottie was subject to instant mood changes. She smiled, scratching ruefully at her long ears. Suppose you're right. I lost my head a bit when the flagon of rare old cider got broken. Confounded stoat must have a noggin like a boulder. Never lose one's temper. That's what my old mum used to say. The badger nodded sagely, carelessly stepping on Drig's tail as the stoat tried to crawl away. She sounds like a wise creature to me. Pity you never heeded her her words. By the way, my name's Lord Brocktree. The hairmaid clapped a paw to her cheek. Oh, my giddy aunt, I do apologize for speaking to you in that sharp manner, sir. I didn't know you were Badger Lord. A ghost of a smile hovered around Brocktree's stern face. No matter, you were upset at the time. What do they call you, miss? The hairmaid did an elegant leg, half bow, half curtsy. Dorothea Duck Fontaine Dilworthy at your service, but I'm generally called Dottie, though my papa always said you should call me anything as long as you didn't call me late for lunch. Excuse me a tick. The fat, frowsy female stoat had risen and was preparing to make a run for it. Dottie re-flattened her with a well-placed kick. Oh, that's not a kick. Swing of her bag. I read that I'm making many mistakes, but this is first time doing anything like this, so you'll have to forgive me. Anywho, moving on. She gestured at Drig's band. What do we do with this covey of curmudgeons, my lord? With a fearsome swish, Lord Brocktree drew his great battle sword, he was almost as tall as himself, with a blade wide as 2 dock leaves. A moan of fear arose from the stoats. Holding it single pod between the double hilt, Brocktree swung the huge weapon, making the air thrum like a swan taking off into flight. Whoop! He buried the point deep in the earth, and his voice dropped to a dangerous growl as he addressed the cowed vermin. I saved my sword for proper combat with real warriors. Scum such as you would only dishonor its blade, but I will make exceptions if any of you are still within my sight by the time I have counted to 3. Remember, I always keep my words. 1. Dottie was bowled over in the mad scramble. Before the Badger Lord had counted further, Drake Slutmouth and his wicked brood had vanished. Dottie chuckled. By gum, that's what I would have done in the first place. Pity it is I don't have a sword like this one. What a smashing old destroyer it is. She tugged with both paws, unearthing the blade, then fell over backwards under its colossal weight. Flaming sunsets, how do you handle a weapon like this? For an answer, the Badger picked up his sword, twirled it in a warrior salute, and stowed it one paw across his broad back, nodding seriously at her. Strength, I suppose. They say I was born even stronger than my father, Lord Stonepaw. Dottie flopped her ears understandingly. I know what you mean. Beauty's always been my curse. They say I was born more beautiful than the jolly old setting sun at solstice. That's probably what made those blinking stoats attack me. Some beasts take beauty as a sign of weakness, you know. I say, did you mention that old Lord Stonepaw was your potter? Brocktree retrieved his traveling bag from behind the beach and shouldered it. I did. What do you know of him? Dottie pulled a face and scuffed the dust with her foot paw. I should very well say so. I'm being sent to his blinking old mountains. Sallow, what'd you call it? I'm being bullied to hydrate. I am being bullied to hydrate, everybody. Me! Of all people. I hydrate on the daily. But if I must, I shall. I will be back. Enjoy the rain in the background. I am back. I have hydrated. Slightly. I still have more hydration right here next to me. And I also got a snack. It's a very good snack. What joke? Okay. Time to continue. Dragon, I thought she said. I forgot about that. Anywho, Salmanstrand, Aye, that place. My Aunt Blanche is the chief cook there. I believe she's a right old battle axe. Lord Brocktree sensed a story behind Dottie's remarks. Seating himself with his back against the beech tree, he unpacked provisions from his bulky haversack. Sit down here by me, Dottie. Do you like oatcakes, cheese and elderflower cordial? The hairmaid plonked herself willingly on the grass. Rather, I haven't eaten for absolute ages, almost an hour, I think. That cheese looks good. Lord Brocktree could not help but smile at the hungry youngster. Well, there's plenty for two, miss. Help yourself and we'll exchange our stories. You first. Tell me why you're being sent to Salmanstron. Plonked. It was an hour past dawn. The gale had passed on and the wind subsided. Mist from the seas cloaked the western shore. Oh, sorry, western shoreline. Stiffner Medic, an old boxing hare, was just completing his daily exercise on the sands above the tideline. Though he was well on in season, Stiffner never neglected his daily routine. He had finished his dawn run, lifted stone and log weights, and was on to the final part of his duck and weave drills. Throwing a final few combination jabs into the mist, he retrieved his champion's belt from a rock and began fastening it about his hard-muscled waist. Stiffner's scarred ears picked up an unfamiliar sound on the ebbing tide. Batting at his nose with a loose clenched paw, he jogged down the water. A narrow sailing boat with its sails furled was being rowed in by a dozen big rats, their fur dyed dark blue. A cloaked creature stood at its prow as it cut through the sea mist. The hare stood his ground, ready for trouble. And make it double. What do you mean, eat? I've finished my snack. Anywho, ready for trouble. As the keel scraped on the sand, the craft nosed up onto the beach. Shipping their oars, the rats silently piled out and threw themselves prone upon the wet sand. The sea what? What? Sea mist! I said sea mist! You know, like the sea missed its mark. Jesus. Dirty-minded. You know, mist from the sea. Shipping their oars, the rats silently piled out and threw themselves prone upon the wet sand. Without a glance at them, the gowned and cowled figure used them as a bridge to reach dry land without wetting its elegantly shod footpaws. I know you did. I know exactly what you heard, or what you... So, be careful. The gowned and cowled figure used them as a bridge to reach dry land without wetting its elegantly shod footpaws. Treading carelessly upon their upturned backs, damn, stepped on. Stiffner nodded towards the newcomer aggressively. Oi there, mate! Who are ye, and what do you want here? One of the rats arose and walked over to face Stiffner. He was a big, evil-looking creature, clad in armor under a tabard embroidered with a sickle hook insignia. The rat's voice was heavy with contempt as he addressed the old boxing hare. Koya, creatures of the lower orders are not allowed to speak with the Grand Fragoral. Fragoral? Damn. Okay. Fragoral, kneel before her and stay silent until I address ye further. Stiffner smiled dangerously. Liffen. Shh. You heard her. Neil chat. I know what crows. I talk about nothing but the purest of things off stream. For I have no clue what you're talking about. You heard her, Neil chat. It makes sense. See what I heard. I speak of nothing but the purest things. Sunshine and lollipops and all that. Anywho, Stiffner smiled dangerously at the armored rat. I think you'd better kneel to me, laddie buck. A lesson in good manners wouldn't go amiss in your cause. A smart whack. You say so if we say so and we don't say so. You should say so. I am very say so. This is a clean and pure Christian Twitch chat. Or Twitch channel. It's a pure Christian Twitch channel. Stop bullying me. Fact check false. Fact check, go away! Stop bullying me! A smart whack to the jaw caused the rat to totter groggily. Stiffner clubbed down with his left paw on the rat's shoulder, forcing him into a kneeling position. Suddenly, the boxing hare found himself hemmed in on all sides by the swords of the other rats. One of them looked towards the hooded figure, who made a few gestures with its shrouded paws. The rat turned back to Stiffner and spoke. No one ever raises paw to the chosen ones and lives. You are fortunate the Grand Fragoral has spared your miserable life, for she wishes to deliver a message to your chief, he who rules the mountain. You will take us to him. Stop bullying me, everybody. God damn it. I know. This is starting to get out to be more chaotic than I expected, but I am having fun. Moving on. Certifiable Rat King. Actually, the Rat King's not here yet. Fragoral isn't even the Rat King. Stiffner was not about to argue with 12 Blades. He nodded to the cloaked figure, speaking as he turned to go. You best follow me, marm. I'll take you to Lord... No, it's a separate thing. What? What? What's going on? Are you guys the rats? Am I the Rat King? Am I the Rat King? A Rat King is a hideous, horrible thing. I know what a Rat King is. It's a bunch of rats with their tails tied together, to my recollection. But what's going... one sec. I'll take ye to Lord Stonepaw, though I doubt he'll offer your breakfast if you're bound to keep acting all high and mighty. Stonepaw's... The Rat King drops bones on death. Yes, it does drop bones on death. Anywho, Stonepaw was back in his living quarters when Fleet Scut ambled in without knocking as usual. Turning from the fog-bound view at his window, the old badger raised his... I don't know if I can say this properly. How do we say this?
Hori.
It's H-O-A-R-Y.
Hori.
I have to look this up. Hoary. And I looked it up and how to pronounce it, and this is what it's pronounced as.
Hori.
Hoary. Hoary. Yes, correct. Jake, can I get a British check? I can't say such things on this very Christian Twitch chat or Twitch channel. Please don't. What's wrong with the word? You know what's wrong with the word. I can't say that. I can't say that. This is a very Christian Twitch channel. Anywho, moving on. Raised his eyebrows at the absence of a trolley. No breakfast today. Has Blench overslept? Great-faced... Oh, that's not even in the... It's not, but it sounds like one, and I'm not allowed to say that. Heck. Also, no. It's the thing that Labby said before asking for Drake to give us a check, a British check. But it sounds like one. I won't explain which one, you all already know. But I can't say that. This is a Christian Twitch channel. Anywho, hang on. Grey-faced, the ancient servant bowed stiffly. I think we were talking about... It has finally arrived, Milad. Some beast to see you down at the shore entrance. You'd best get dressed for company. The only thing Christian is your brain. By that I mean fucked up if you think that's bad. You ain't gonna take hell. What? Okay. I don't... No, I know what it means. I'm just messing with you guys. And also... Now say it. But then I'd have to go back, like, a quarter of a page. Stop bullying me. Anywho, going back. Turning from the fog-bound view at his window, the old badger raised his hoary eyebrows at the absence of a trolley. No breakfast today, as Blench overslept. Grave-faced, the ancient servant bowed stiffly. I think the trouble we were talking about has finally arrived, my lord. Twitch 101, you will get bullied. I get bullied in real life, too! Moving on. That was a joke, by the way. Don't worry. That was a joke. Anyway, moving on. Yo, Twitch. As do I. Oh dear. If any of y'all dare strike my captain. What? Okay, I have to keep reading, otherwise we will get nowhere. Moving on. Some beasts to see you down at the entrance. Down at the shore entrance. Moving on. Wordlessly, Stonepaw allowed his retainers to select a flowing green rope from the closet. When the Badger Lord had shrugged out his nightgown, Fleetfoot climbed on a chair and assisted his master to get the rope. I'll get your red belt to go with that, and maybe a war helmet and javelin. Stonepaw ignored Fleetfoot's selection. Bring my white cord girdle. No helmet to keep slipping over my eyes. There's no need of a javelin either. Picking up a long ceremonial mace, the Badger surveyed himself in a long copper mirror. Get Stiffner, Bunchworthy, Sailors, and Troby. They can accompany me. Now that dawnlight was clear, and the mist had begun to disperse, two of the old hares watched from the vantage windows in the mountain. Watching from vantage windows in the mountain, remarked on the curious appearance of the rats and their cloaked leader at the mountain's main entrance. Stab me whiskers. They're blue. Must be something wrong with your eyes, old chap. Whoever heard of blue rats? I know, but look at their fur. But look, their fur is sort of darkish blue. Can't tell what the dickens color that one with the cloak is. Sinister looking bod, what? Blanche the cook took a final look before going off to supervise breakfast with her kitchen helpers. Pink, blue, or rainbow colored. That lot down there looked like trouble. You mark my words. The heavily robed figure of the Grand Fragorel stood immobile and mysterious, but the rat who had challenged Stiffner paced up and down impatiently. He was obviously some type of officer. After a lengthy while, Lord Stonepaw and his retinue of 4 hares, all carrying javelins, appeared. The spokes-rat swaggered forward. Toying arrogantly with his sword hilt, he looked Stonepaw up and down. Are you the one in charge here? Speak. Lord Stonepaw brushed past him as if he was not there, and pointed a great, gnarled paw at the cloaked one. Who are you, and why do you trespass upon the western shore with armed soldiers? Removing the cowl of her cloak, the hooded one revealed herself. She was a blue-furred ferret, wearing a nose ring from which hung a gold sickle hook amulet. Her voice carried with it the haughty tone of one used to being obeyed. I am Grand Fragorel. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. I can't speak. Moving on. I am the Grand Fragorel to Ungatron, ruler of the earth. You are one of the inferior species, but he has given me permission to deliver his message to you. I'm trying! Ahem. Feeling his hackles begin to rise, the Badger Lord growled. Inferior species, eh? Stand here talking like that to me, vermin, and you'll be crab meat before the mist lifts fully. Aye, and your rats too. If you have something to say, then spit it out and speak on while I'm still in a reasonable mood. So speak your piece now. Okay. That's interesting. Ah, man. Drawing a scroll from her robe, the ferret read out aloud. Ferret, but with W's. Anywho, be it known to all creatures of lowly order, the days of Ungatron are here. All of these lands and the seas that skirt them are from here on in his property. You have until nightfall to vacate this place. You must take nothing with you. Nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapon. Yes. Fair wit. You have until nightfall to vacate this place. You must take nothing with you, neither victuals nor weapons. You will also leave behind you any serving beasts who are of use. This is the will and law of Ungetron, he who holds the power to make the stars fall from the sky and the earth to tremble. Obey or die. Stiffner medic raised his javelin. Just say the words, Milad, and we will give him blood and vinegar. Us lower orders are pretty good at things like that. Stonepaw touched Stiffner's javelin load so that it pointed down to the sand. He heaved a sigh of resignation as he replied to the Grand Frag Oral. Deliver this message back to whatever lunatic scum you serve. Tell him that Lord Stonepaw Salmanstrom is accustomed to the blowing of windbags, as your master will find to his cost if he dares to land here. Now out of my sight, and take those blue-painted idiots with you. Wordlessly, the ferret and her soldiers retreated to their boats and rowed off into the mist. Sailors, a garrulous old female warrior, twirled her lance nonchalantly. Shaking his grizzled old beard. Oh, head, sorry. Grizzled old head. Stonepaw turned and stumped back into his beloved mountain. I wish it was, friend. I wish it was. Okay. We are taking a small 5-minute break for stretching, so get up and stretch your legs. If you can, pause what you're doing and enjoy this small break. Ow. You're right, and I don't like that. Now, I would like to inform everybody of another fun little thing. After today, if you wish to find these series, if you missed out on any of these the series, this will be posted onto youtube.com at my YouTube channel, Quillpen. Now, I do hope that none of you are going to miss it, because I'm seeing that everyone seems to be liking this quite a bit, which is good. I'm glad. But if you do miss it, it's right there. YouTube.com. Why was I not told about this? Because this is new. I have a singular video on there. It's just some dumb Sea of Thieves shit post. This is brand new. Yeah, it's brand new, Lammy. Don't worry. So don't worry, you've not missed anything. It's 4:20 p.m. and we have 5 minutes of rest. So, everybody, how is your day going? How is everyone doing? Nice timing. For what? Ah, idea. I do see the time. Loud water noises. Exactly! I love loud water noises. I love the rain, I'll be real. Now, there is a little special thing. As the year goes on, as we go through, when it becomes fall and winter, the noises shall change. Blub blub and water. Yes, correct. Blub blub and water. You wanna be... What if we were water together and our containers touched? What if we touched containers as water? But as the year goes on, the noises will change. When it becomes fall, we shall change to the noises of fireplace. And when they become of a fire in the fireplace. That is so incredibly unchristian. No, it's not! It's very, very normal for containers of water to touch. Their speech has been discredited. No, it is not! Touching containers is a very Christian act. This is incredible. This is incredible perversion. Perversion cannot be tolerated. Lemmy, I've done nothing. No, don't send me to like a weird Christian Bible camp. No. But anyways, starting from fall. And what I call fall will be the 1st of October, because fuck y'all. 1st of October. To the first day of spring. From the first day of fall to the first day of spring, we shall be using fireplace noises. Exciting, right? We'll have the nice warm crackling of a fire. As you curl up and let the world melt away, listening only to the sound of my voice and the crackling of the fire. Anywho, moving on. Terrifying. What? Terrifying. What? Huh? Nah. Nah. Anywho, moving on. I do believe it is time to go back to this book at hand. Just got to turn down the rain a little. Whoops, almost messed up there. Almost turned it down completely. I'm having a tough time, if you can't tell. Lord Brocktree listened with amusement as Dottie unfolded her story. Well, sir, what with one bally thing or another, I was always in trouble back at home in the mid-eastern hills. If a confounded pie went missing from a windowsill or some beast had it been at the cider store? Guess who got the blinkin' blame? Me, trouble causer, rabble rouser, scoff swiper. I've been called all these, you know, not to mention frog walloper and butter wouldn't melt in me mouth. Fiddle-dee, fiddle-de-dee, I say, because it was all because of my fatal beauty. They always pick on the pretty ones, I've already told you that. Anywho, just after Grandpa's whiskers went afire and some villain tore the seat out of Uncle Septimus's breeches, my dear old parents made a decision. Here, cast your lordly peepers over this little scrawl. Dottie dug a tattered bark cloth letter from her arm bag. Brocktree's dark eyes twinkled as he read it. Dear Sister Blench, Cramsey and I can no longer put up with Dorothea, and I am sending her to you. Your Badger Lord has our permission to deal with the wretch as he sees fit, short of slaying her. You may also do likewise. Please keep her captive upon your mountain until such time as she is civilized enough to live among decent creatures. Teach her to cook and other domestic skills. I know it is too much to ask that she be taught etiquette, deportment, and other maidenly pursuits. She is a fiend in hare's fur, believe me. Sister dear, I implore you to take her off our paws while we still have a roof over our heads, which are gray and with care and worry. I'd be fibbing if I said Dorothea does not eat much. She's an empty sack with legs. Her appetite would frighten a flock of seagulls. Grant her father and me this one favor, and you will have our heartfelt thanks, plus the beaded shawl Mother has passed down to me in a flagon of the palest old cider from Cramsey's drink cabinet. Lordly peepers indeed. Please write to me to know she's arrived safely, and if she does not return by winter, I will take it that she has settled down to her new life. Cramsey sends his love to you, Blench. I remain your devoted sister. Signed, Daphne Duckfontaine Dilworthy. Brocktree had to turn his head aside and wipe his eyes on a spotted kerchief? Whatever. To keep from laughing. Dottie, surmising that he was wiping away tears, nodded sympathetically. Sad, ain't it, sir? The woeful tale of a fatal beauty. Man. What an idiot of a rabbit. Sorry, hare. Whoops. I say, did you get chucked out by your parents too? You'll forgive me saying, but a chap of your size must have taken some bally chucking. What? The Badger Lord patted his young friend's paw. No, it was nothing like that, Dottie. I was restless, just like all Badger Lords before me. It grieved me to leave behind my young son, Boar the Fighter. I named him. A Badger son is his pride and joy when he is a babe, but he must grow up. It is a fact that two male badgers cannot live together in peace, especially Badger Lords. For that is what Boar will grow to be one day. So I had to observe the unwritten law. I left Rock Hall and began roaming to follow my dream. But Dottie carefully stowed the letter back in her bag. Beg pardon, Saw, but what dream is that? Brocktree unshouldered his battle blade and began wetting its edge on a smooth rock, even though it looked keen as a razor. A vision I see in my mind's eye. Man. Got that inner eye or some shit. Crazy, am I right? Sometimes when I'm awake, or other times when I sleep. It must have been the same picture that other badgers have dreamed. A mountain that once shot forth flames and molten rock. Older than time itself. Its flame now gone. Always waiting for me on the shores of a great ocean. I cannot describe the way to smell Manstron, for that is what I know, but the mountain is cold. Nor can I draw a map or route, but there's something in my brain, my very heart, guiding me there. Dottie interrupted perkily. Oh, super duper, saw. I'm glad that you know the flippin' way. I haven't got a confounded clue, only that someplace down the western shores. Oh, beg pardon, saw. Didn't mean to bet on you. Butt in on you. Bad form. What? Brocktree smiled at his young companion and ruffled her ears indulgently. We'll find it together. Young un, you're right, 'tis on the western shores. In my dreams I've seen the sun setting in the seas beyond the mountain, but my feelings tell me At the place for which we are bound will have great need of a Badger Lord. One who will not shrink from evil and cruelty. A warrior ready to stand and fight. God damn it. Man, I'm getting occasionally interrupted by a certain troublemaker. They knew who they are. I will leave it at that. Dottie chuckled, cutting once more into Brocktree's speech. Well, your jolly old feelings have no further to look than yourself, sir. You look like the very badger to do the job, and you come ready equipped with that bloomin' great monstrosity you call a sword. No beating up other people, Lammy! Beating other people up is wrong. I totally don't condone it. Especially not if it's a child. Squinting one eye, Brocktree peered down the mighty blade. Its deadly double-edged keener than midwinter. Yeesh. Methinks it will have to work. Well, cut out when the time comes. That face, the one that visits and disturbs my slumbers, I've seen nothing like it. The face that turns dreams into haunting nightmares. You still can't beat yourself, beat anyone up, because Lammy, beating anyone up, including yourself, is not okay unless it's a child. I mean, what? The tone of Brocktree's voice caused Dottie to shudder. Great seasons, what face is that, sir? Nothing I want to talk more about, young un. Now, no more questions, please. We'll make camp here. There's a brook beyond that tall elm yonder. You go and fill this bowl with water while I get a small fire going. Come now, Dottie. Stir your stumps. You'll have to shape up if you want to travel with me. Harry sprang up, grabbing the bowl from Brocktree's big paws and saluting smartly with a comical manner. Brook beyond the tall elm. Fill bowl with water. Yes, sir. Three bags full, sir. Going right away, sir. About turn. Quick march. 1, 2, hop. Brocktree grinned as he watched her strut off, trip, send the bowl flying, and catch it clumsily. She grinned back at him sheepishly. Good wee, sending me for water. What? If you'd told me to light a fire, I'd have probably set the whole forest up in flames. Not too clever at fires, don't you know? Brocktree took out his tinderbox, murmuring to himself, at least she can't flood the forest with a single bowlful of water, but who knows? Oh well, at least she's company for a lone traveler. Flickering shadows from the fire hovered about the woodland glade. Somewhere close by, a nightjar warbled in the branches of sycamore. Dottie scraped a wood ladle around the empty bowl and licked it. Confounded good soup that was. Sup? No badger lords cook as well as you do. Maybe you'd best fire my Aunt Blanche and promote yourself to head cook when we get to Salmonstron, what? Oh no. Oh dear. Brocktree lifted his eyes in mock ferocity. If I do become head cook, I'll make sure that you get lots of sticky, greasy pots to wash, young miss. Dottie began rummaging in her bag. If the scoff tastes as good as that, I'll lick 'em all shining clean. Least I can do is render you a little ditty to aid your digestion, sir. The badger folded his paws across his stomach. Aye, that'd be nice. Carry on. I will not be doing this song, by the way. Not happening. Dottie peered into the bag as she rooted around in the interior. Oh, corks, half of the beads have fallen off this blanket shawl with the matter gave me front flinch. It's absolutely soaked with cider too. Aha! Here's my faithful hair accordion. A few of the keys and reeds are sticking, but that cider may have loosened them up a touch. Right, here goes. Pin your ears back and get ready for a treat. What? To describe... No, not happening. No, I will not. To describe the handmaid's voice as being akin to a frog trapped beneath a hot stone would have been a great injustice to both frog and stone. Moreover, the instrument she played on sounded like 10 chattering squirrels swinging on a rusty gate. However, Dottie played and sang on blithely. Brocktree Nothing, you can't get me to do this. You can't do anything to get me to do this. Understood. So don't try anything. Okay then, what do you think my price is, Lemmy? What do you think it'll take? Ah, dear. That sign won't stop me because I can't read. But wait, are you Jared and 19? And did you never learn how to fucking read? Anywho, what did you just say? I said, I asked if you're Jared, 19, and you never learned how to fucking read, because you said, this sign can't stop me because I can't read. Anywho, Brocktree squinched both eyes shut, fervently hoping that the song did not contain too many verses. Oh, it's a vine. One sec.
Jared, could you read number 23 for the class? No, I cannot. What up? I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
Anywho, moving on past the song. Dottie made her ears stand rigid on the last note to add effect, fluttering her eyelids dramatically. She was squeezing the hair accordion finally shut. For ideas for nope, that will definitely not be enough. Lemmy. Oh dear, what was it? Lemmy, you will not get me to do that. Not enough. Not even close to enough. If 2 isn't close to enough, why would 3, Lemmy? I'm not budging. You will not get me to budge. I'm not 100 times that, maybe. But anywho, moving on. It's finally shut when its bellows shut forth a stream of old pale cider. Right? $1. Lemmy. I'm not doing this. You can't pay me enough money. You can't. Plus, you don't really have a way to, so, whatever. Moving on! Right up her nose. She sneezed and curtsied awkwardly. Woo! That cleared my head. Shall I sing you another of my ditties, sir? The Badger Lord demurred, hoping she would not insist. No, Dottie, please. You must save your voice for another evening. Now that you should get some rest. Here, take my cloak. I don't remember this. You probably might. Maybe. We'll see. I could find a way to make you forget. Anywho, moving on. God fucking damn it, Lemmy! Unwrite that. Unwrite that. Moving on. The handmaid settled down with a cloak swathed around her like a huge collapse. Also, this is a nice mod in single player. I forgot to change the thing, okay? Next time. Next time. Anywho, moving on before we run out of time. Huge collapse. She sighed. Funny thing, you know, my voice has that effect on many creatures. You should thank the stars. You were born with just plain. You were born just a plain old badger lord. That's the trouble with being a fatal beauty with a voice that's too fine to be heard more than once a night. It's affected my dad so much. He said once in a lifetime was sufficient for him. Good job. You ain't like him, Sigh. At least I can sleep to you once every night. Ah, poor guy. Poor guy. Anywho. So at least I can sing to you once every night. What? Turning his back to her, Brocktree winced. Well, perhaps not every single night. Don't want to strain a beautiful voice, do we? Dottie closed her eyes, snuggling down in the cloak. Let's just say I'll sing to you whenever I feel up to it. Good night, Brocktree, sir. I say, can I call you Brockers? The tone of the Badger Lord's reply stifled Emmy. Lemmy! Shut! Quiet! You're interrupting. I mean, I did say that was okay, but you know what I mean. Moving on! You certainly cannot miss the very idea of it, Brockers. Good night! Morning sun broke cheerfully down upon the little camp, the twittering of birdsong. Twitter? Will you take me not saying that as a price for singing the thing? Nope! No. I will not. I refuse. I will not. Not happening. No way. Nope. Nuh-uh. Twitter, yes. Anywho, as I was saying, morning sun broke cheerfully down upon the little camp, the twittering of birdsong causing Dottie to poke her head out of the cloak folds. Blue smoke rose in a thin column amid the dappled sun shadows cast by trees in its full spring. In full spring leaf, Brocktree was turning out cakes over a flat stone. Oh dear. That's not a noise that's supposed to happen. I'm so sorry. That was not a noise that was supposed to happen. I don't even know what the fuck that was. I think I accidentally hit my mic on, like, my fucking arm. Was turning oatcakes over on a flat stone which was laid upon the fire. He had rekindled. I don't have enough money to pay my arm to do acting. His great striped head shook reprovingly. Dawn has been up for 2 hours, miss. Are you going to lie there all day? Yawning and stretching, the hair-maid lolloped over to the fire, muttering as she helped herself to hot oatcakes and mint tea sweetened with honey. Oh, that sounds so good. We need to get... Wait. Actually... Please? Oh, there's an entire cookbook. There's an entire... There's a cookbook. That's good to know. It's the confounded beauty sleep, that's what 'tis. My mother was always saying to me when I came down late for breakfast, been taking your beauty sleep again, Miguel? I say, these oatcakes are spiffing when they're hot. Well, sir, which way do your voices say we go today? What? Brocktree recovered his cloak and bundled it into his haversack. I think we should follow the course of that brook where you got the water from. Sooner or later it'll bring us to a stream. Dottie rescued the oatcakes just in time. As Brocktree doused the fire and broke camp, stuffing items in her bag, she hop-skipped behind him, slopping mint tea about and bolting oatcakes as she breakfasted on the move. Question, sir, why are we looking for a stream? The Badger Lord replied without looking back. Streams always run to rivers, rivers run to the sea. That way we'll find the shoreline and follow it south. Sooner or later we'll come to the mountain on the west shore. Save your breath for marching, young un. By mid-morning, Dottie was hungry, paw-sore, and had nearly talked herself out, though to no effect. All she saw was the Badger's broad, cloaked back with the greatsword slung across it in front of her. All her observations and complaints were met with either silence or a deep grunt. Yes, indeed, Lemmy. Lord Brocktree was not one for lengthy conversations. When he was on the march, Dottie stumbled, barking her footpaw upon a willow root as they followed the meandering brook. Ouch! Oh, I've gone and broke a limb! The pain's shooting right up to my palliator tips! There was no reply, either sympathetic or otherwise. Yes, barked. Barking. Woof woof, motherfucker. There was no reply, either sympathetic or otherwise, from Brocktree, who merely trudged onward. Dottie continued to lament to a ladybird that had lighted on her shoulders. Might have to borrow that big sword and chop off my blinking footpaw. If I find the right piece of wood, I should be able to carve another to hop along on. Breakfast was ages ago. Ages and ages and ages! I'll bet lots of... I see. Lots of poor beasts die of starvation, having to walk along for days and days behind a big rotten old badger who never says a flippin' word. Brocktree bit his lip hard to keep from chuckling. Now, if I was a badger, I'd talk all the time. In fact, I'd make it my duty to talk to nice, friendly hairmaids. Oh, dearie me, I'd say. You hurt your footpaw, Dottie? Here, let me cut it off with my sword. You can ride up on my back until I find a log to chop up and make you a new one. Brocktree halted without warning, and Dottie walked straight into his back and still chunnering Sorry. I'm sorry. What's going on, Lammy? What is caused you to say excuse me? What in the chat? Make a new foot. Yes. I don't know how to explain that. And Daddy walked straight to his back, still chunnering to herself. He turned. There's the stream up ahead, Missy. You can sit on the bank and cool your paw in the water. That'll make it feel a lot better. And while you do that, I'll get lunch ready for us. With a deft motion, he produced his great battle blade. But I can always oblige by doing as you wish. Here, hold out your foot paw and I'll chop it off. Dottie shot past him for the stream pin, killing. Yeah, I'd chop off both your blooming great foot paws off if I could lift that sword. At least it'd slow you down a bit. Lord Paw Whacker, that's what they should have called you. The handmaid's mood softened as she sat cooling her foot paws in the shade of the tree, letting the soothing stream work its magic as she ate lunch. Brocktree had gathered some early berries and mixed them with chopped apple and hazelnuts from his pack, which made a delicious fruit salad with a syrup of honey and stream water poured over them. Then the badger gave her dock leaves and water weed he had collected along the street bank. If your paw's still sore, bind it with these. That will fix it up. Taking the badger's face in both paws, Dottie murmured, "Look straight at me, Sal. Pretend I'm thanking you. Now don't look over there, but there's a willow overhanging the water the other side of the stream. Don't look. There's somebody sitting there watching us." And now I must say thank you, everybody, for we will stop there. Now, it was a pleasure reading the book and it was a pleasure to have you all by my side. We will be doing this all again next Saturday. And remember, the world will melt away next time too, as you listen to the book. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.